online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers! Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's after show for our favorite WGN show, Manhattan. Today we are doing episode Brooklyn. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. Joining me, I have...
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Alina Vision.
Alina, we're back. Episode Brooklyn. First of all, quick thoughts. What did you think of this?
I loved it, actually. This might have been my favorite show of the season so far.
Really? This episode?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
So much happened. I think, we got there's a lot of reveals. There was a lot of things kind of coming to fruition. I liked it. What about you?
I liked it too. We finally kind of got a physical, actual test, but no explosion. We're getting there, knowing that they're literally building it to we're catching up to what the first scene that this show started off with this season, the actual Trinity test. And we're getting closer. I'm excited, but we're still not there.
So close.
We're so close. So close. But we do realize that we move so far in the future again.
Yeah.
2 months. So a lot can happen in 2 months.
Exactly.
But I'm glad they didn't do all the flashbacks catching us up, because I guess a lot happened,
right? There's a lot of science.
Yeah. Other than the fact that Frank is not in the army anymore. He's back on Team Little Boy.
Yeah.
What do you think of him back in his, old quarters and working away again?
I like having Frank back, but I'm kind of sad for Helen that, she's not at the head of the group anymore, and she's back under Frank, and he's doing his thing, looking out for Frank and Frank's agenda, which I liked the fact that Helen called him out on that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Even though she's not in a position of power anymore, because of course it was taken over by a man. Which is very frustrating.
Right.
I like that she still had the audacity, and, she does have that place, and she's earned that right to call him out on his crap.
Right, exactly.
You're like, I know exactly what you did. You purposely sabotaged that test. And I'm glad it came from her. Mm-hmm. Because I think she's the only person who will say it straight and not sugarcoat it.
Right, exactly. That's what I love about her character. She's able to stand up to the men and kind of stand toe-to-toe with them and not really, give a hoot as to what they think about her. She's going to say it like it is. So,
yeah.
Love it, Helen.
What do you think of her new boo? Her new boyfriend.
I always knew something was a little fishy with him.
We were questioning it last episode.
That.
We're like, he seems so random and so not her type in a way. Maybe physically.
Physically her type, but yeah.
Just, she's a physicist, he's a lawyer.
And it was just so random from him to be there, kind of, and then really honing in on her.
And asking personal things.
Right.
A little too personal. He stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And to the point where we're like, yeah, we knew it. There is another spy, and he is one of them.
And he is it. Kind of had a sneaking feeling it was him. This episode we learn it is him. He is Perseus. The one thing that I didn't know, or maybe I just didn't pick up on, was when not Crosley, Meeks. When Meeks was reading Nora's kind of journal about all of them, I didn't get that from the boyfriend's character, like everything that he was, everything she wrote. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe it's not him.
Right. Or maybe he's just another spy on the Hill. Again, I always question how many people are actually spies on this Hill. Yeah, and they're just popping out of the woodwork.
Everywhere, yeah.
But to your point that, like, all those characteristics she was reading from, or he was reading, Meeks was reading from the book. that we, the audience, didn't spend enough screen time with the new boyfriend that we can't even remember his name. We apologize, but we didn't get enough screen time with him to get all those characteristics and put two and two together.
Yeah.
So I get that. But he's a spy. He's leaving town with Meeks, but we'll definitely
get into that.
Meeks. But let's really get with Crosley. And I love how Bucher came back.
Yeah.
Because I liked his character for that one episode, very antagonistic, a good foil to Frank in the prison. What do you think of Bucher's appearance?
I'm glad he's back. I think it definitely adds another layer to kind of what was going on at the time with the whole espionage and trying to figure out. And he's definitely, like, you know, what's going to be the new CIA type of agent and kind of recruiting Crosley for that. I love his character. I mean, you can tell he is a psychologist. That's what he said, right? Definitely is able to get into people's minds, as he did with Frank. Very well. He did. And I think he's able to tell that Crosley would make a good agent.
I think it was great, and I kind of liked this pairing just for it felt like the Hardy Boys in a way.
It did, like it was a good feel on the screen.
Absolutely, it's like it kind of, I don't want to say bromance, but like I like this pairing. It's like I kind of just want to see them together and do more fun, crazy crap.
Right, they played off of each other really well, and they worked good together.
Yeah, their on-screen just acting chemistry-wise it was really on point. But they apprehend Mr. Victor Green, who, as we know, is also the character sketch of the boy who pointed out, you know, the witness a couple episodes ago. When we thought he was going to point out Meeks, it actually turns out to be Mr. Victor Green.
Yeah.
What do you think of this whole interrogation scene with Green and how Darrow even got involved in all this?
So at the beginning, liked it, definitely. He wasn't saying anything.
Nope.
He was, you know, holding the line.
He was trying to kill himself.
Yeah, I know.
He had the pill.
He was about to take the pill, and they got him right before he took the pill, which I'm glad about. And then, you know, when he was talking to Crosley on his own, he let the cat out of the bag, which is kind of like, come on, Spy 101. You don't do that.
Yeah,
you don't let him know, you know, any personal information about them. But lo and behold, you know, Crosley was able to figure out he knows something about me, which means I probably know whoever the spy is, the other spy is. So I thought that exchange was really cool. But I didn't get why Darrow went and killed him.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of raised a question mark in my head. What about you?
Darrow, I mean, we see a more calmer, more composed, cold-hearted, in a way, type of Darrow. And this is probably the one moment we saw, like, vulnerability. And him literally get pushed off the edge to the point where he killed Mr. Victor Green.
Yeah, he went from being someone who's so pious and all about God and here's my sanctuary and come to confession and
to the point where he killed.
Yeah, and then he killed someone.
That's one of the cardinal sins. Is
exactly.
And breaking the 10 Commandments.
Exactly.
Like, thou shalt not kill.
Yeah. So that raised a question mark. Why did he kill this guy? I don't know. Maybe I have a prediction about that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. We might get back to that. But I love how Darrow makes Crosley and Bucher clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Quote, unquote, clean up the mess. That was hysterical.
Yeah.
But I like their moment in the barn when they're staging a suicide for Mr. Victor Green, hanging him up and then cracking his neck.
Oh, goodness. Goodness.
This, I do have to say, this is probably like the worst after show week for me because three of my shows, like everyone dies, and two of them has been neck snapping. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
It's just that sound.
It's the universe. I don't know what's going on. Yes, it's a horrible sound.
It
and
is.
Then to hear it twice this week.
Poor Marisa.
I know. It's torture. First world problems. But, okay. Yes, so they stage Mr. Victor Green's death. He's done. I love the actual statistics that it's like, this is why we're hanging him up in a barn.
Exactly. He busted out with some statistics and things he would have rather have done.
Yeah. 40% of people actually off themselves in their own private home.
It's better in the bathtub because you can bleed. Like, jeez.
And it's the story behind it that makes it more interesting, not the fact that it happened, but why it happened.
Yeah.
It's like,
clearly he's done it before.
he's been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, all right, Bucher.
Yeah.
We get you have a dark past, but I think it's the psychology within him.
Exactly.
It's like, this is why we're doing it.
Yep.
That was fun. Actually, just fun for them to kind of bond over. That I think one of the main things of this episode is just death.
Right.
Death, like what we have to do to avoid death, what we have to do to actually cause and create it, and just the overlying theme of death.
Death. Yeah.
We'll definitely get more into that because there's another big topic to get. But let's quickly talk about Liza. Liza, still there.
Love her.
Love her. What did you think of her moment when she's trying to address the men in the office? Like, this is the importance of what we're doing at this Trinity test and how it's going to affect all of us.
Exactly. And they're like not even paying attention at all. They're just eating the muffins.
Eating a sandwich.
Doing their work, not paying attention to her.
Telephones and whatnot.
Right, exactly. And I mean,
like
I think it just
millennials
speaks to
these
like,
days.
right. So true. I think it just speaks to that time period and kind of like what the scenario and all of that she was in at the time too.
Right.
It's hard for a woman to get, their voice heard. And luckily, Charlie came in and said, you guys need to listen to this. And she made a point that, the corn that's in those muffins is actually grown in the canyon where you guys have been running these tests. So
It's like,
happy eating.
You might be already ingesting
exactly.
it.
That
Congratulations.
got their attention.
Yes, I did love that. I love how Liza, although people might not be listening to her right now, she's still fighting the women oppression that's very heavily going on back in those days. She has a voice. And they're allowing her to actually utilize that voice and do science, what her main career is, studying botany but using a voice in a positive way.
Right.
Even though no one's listening, she still has that freedom to do it.
And she's doing important
Liza,
work.
go woman.
Yeah,
Power.
exactly.
Love it. And do you think Liza and Frank will get back together again? Because they still seem pretty cold towards each other.
Right. I think Liza seems more cold, obviously, towards Frank. Frank is giving her the googly eyes and all of that. I think Liza's still trying to, get over just the whole Frank scenario that happened before and his lies and just Frank's agenda. And so I think they will get back together because you did see a little bit of a warm-up at the end of that little scene with the two of them. She's like, oh, do you really think I took up baking? And gave him a smile. So maybe she's warming up.
I think that was more of just a jab, but
Maybe.
It's an interaction.
Right,
I guess.
exactly.
But yes, Frank is no longer part of the army. He's back on the team Little Boy. But he's still trying to convince Charlie, be like, hey, this is the voice. You have to stand up for everyone who's building this bomb.
Right.
What did you think of his failed attempt for Charlie? Because let's get into Charlie.
Ooh, Charlie's getting dark.
Very dark.
Very dark, turning into a completely almost different character, I feel. He's just, I get what Frank was saying, and Charlie was playing along very well. Very, very well. I think at that moment, maybe he was considering it, going Frank's way. But then after all that kind of unfolded with him at home and just thinking about it and probably just ego and all of that, he decided, no, we're going to drop the bomb.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, before we get to this speech, let's do Charlie, because Charlie's connected to a lot of these people. Leading up to his big and grand speech. Charlie and Abby, trouble on the home front. Yeah. Still, we see Abby sends their son away from Charlie. What do we think of Abby? Because we see Abby, she gets the letter from John Tatlock, Jean's survived husband, because she thinks she's the one who's responsible for Jean. But we also find that Darrow plays the voice recording back, and it was Charlie who told Darrow to set up a hit on Jean Tatlock. Yeah. And that causes a big rift between Charlie and Abby. What do you think of this whole showdown?
Ooh, the drama.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. At first I was like, see, Abby, this is what happens when you start poking your nose. It kind of sets off this chain reaction.
It
know?
did.
It set up a huge...
And she got fired.
Right, exactly. So now she doesn't have a job. Now she's just bored. And her kid's not there. So it's like...
And she's
what
on the cusp of losing her husband now, too. She's going to be all alone.
Exactly. So, yeah. Get it together.
She did not think that one through.
No. But, I mean, it showed kind of a different side of Charlie. Like, for some reason, it never dawned on me that it came from him. Because I remember that conversation, but I guess it didn't, like, register. Like, oh, that's what they would actually do.
Same here.
You know? Yeah.
It's interesting the second time they played it back.
Exactly.
I saw it in a completely different perspective.
Exactly.
I was like, that's brilliant.
Right.
Who knew that would actually become a hit and an actual murder?
Right. Because when he was saying it didn't... When they were having that conversation, it didn't feel like Dara was going to be like, okay, let's do this. It was just kind of like, you know.
It didn't seem as threatening and as lethal as it turned out to be.
Exactly. And now she's not having it with Charlie. Which, I mean, I don't blame her.
Yeah. I don't blame her. It's like, she has every right to be upset with Charlie.
Exactly. Especially the fact that she thought that it was her that really did kill this woman.
And Charlie allowed that to keep going on into making Abby think she was responsible.
Exactly.
That's cold. Good husbands don't do that.
No.
What kind of monster are you?
Good husbands don't do a lot of things that Charlie's been up to, so.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so yes, trouble on the home front, which also just leads Charlie to the actual Trinity test. Now we're getting to it.
Okay.
He changes his whole perspective for his voice for the committee team. What do you think of his grand speech and his whole objecting and reasoning behind why they should drop the atomic bomb in the heart of Japan?
Yeah. When he first stood up to say the speech, because the original plan was he was supposed to go last to get the final word. That's what Frank wanted him to do. And he ended up going first, like even cutting off Oppenheimer. At first I didn't know where he was going with it. It kind of sounded like he was going to go that route, but then it took a turn. And
serious turn.
He pretty much said, you know, we can own being monsters and we can either have peace or love, and it's better to have, I think he said peace, right? So
we can be loved or we can have peace.
Exactly. And he just wants to show kind of the might and
the power that they have.
Yeah. It was a very like wow speech.
It was a total totalitarian type of mentality.
Exactly.
And I wrote down one of the quotes. Let's be monsters today to stop the monsters of tomorrow.
Right.
Which, are you really that adamant about such a project that the government allowed you to do to humanistically go to, I don't even know if that's a word, but on the human level, be the monsters of today.
Right.
Like, we are going to be the bad guys.
Right.
Is that okay? Is that okay with America? It doesn't matter what other people think of us so long as we show our dominance and power.
That's
by dropping a bomb.
On people.
On innocent
people. Schools, hospitals. Children.
Women.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And he even said for maximum level destruction.
Yeah.
Like, not just...
At an altitude with the maximum radius.
Yeah.
And that's how his mind thinks.
Crazy.
It's calculated.
Right.
And it's scientific. It's not
looking at the human. Right. The human. But I'm sure there were some scientists that thought that way as well. Because, I mean, some of them maybe looked at this job as a way to serve their country in war, obviously. You know, some people can go into the military, and then this is like the scientist's way. So maybe that's kind of where, you know, his mind was too, but because that's part of showing might of America. But it was just
in the wrong way.
In the wrong way, complete wrong way.
Yeah. The problem with Charlie is that right now he's becoming quite just trying to think of the word, but he has no good reasoning behind this. I mean, he can put it into a speech where people would listen, and very persuasive speech, but he's a sociopath.
Right.
He's an actual sociopath with no feelings towards how this would affect other people.
Right.
Must be the monsters of today.
Which is, yeah.
Because no one cares.
Who says that?
Who says that back in 1945?
Exactly. And it is, yeah. Wow.
Be the monsters who erased a city without warning.
Right.
Catastrophic. And I'm like, all right, Charlie, I'm not sure if I just like you as a character anymore.
Right.
Because you had that type of reasoning behind something so drastic in the world.
Exactly. I mean, you could just see everything about him is so dark and gloomy. It's like he has a cloud over his head 24/7 kind of, I feel like. And it shows in the speech. It's just about dropping the bomb. About showing his might, because it's his, it's like his baby. This is what I worked so hard for.
And that's what's sad, because the bomb is his baby. He has nothing. He really doesn't have anything else left.
No.
He's losing his wife.
Right.
He lost his son now. And then the bomb actually
his dad
drops. His dad is
whatever.
Gone.
Yeah.
MIA again. But when the bomb actually drops, what else will he have besides his knowledge and science?
He'll have his name in history.
Is that good enough, though?
To some people.
Is that good enough for him?
I think for him it's good enough.
You think so?
I think so. I think for his character, I think it's good enough for him.
It was great speech.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy, awesome monologue. I can see people do that at
very well written.
Acting auditions.
Yeah.
It was very telling for a character choice.
Right.
It's like, all right, Charlie, I started to like you, but now it gave me every reason not to.
Not so much, yeah.
Really sad. But another big character who's kind of on the way out, Meeks.
Yeah.
All right. As we know, Meeks is attached to a lot of people, but we see Meeks and Nora. Nora, again, be like, hey, you got to keep your cool. Don't leave. Because it's too obvious if you leave, then you look like a guilty party, and he is. But that sounds like, I feel like every time we see their conversations together, it's always the same thing.
Right.
We get it. But what do you think of Fritz? Fritz and Meeks and that kind of friendship still kind of going on?
Yeah, I think
without knowing.
Fritz is just so sad and depressed about everything. Poor thing.
He doesn't even want to go to the Trinity test.
He's just like, I've seen enough death. There's just been too much death. I am super sad. I felt so bad for him. But as far as Meeks goes and Nora, I think it was a very interesting exchange, especially because now she's in charge. Now that her dad is gone, she's calling the shots. And
changing the plan.
She's completely changing the plan.
That's going to bite you too, going rogue. No one, because you're under someone else's influence, and they're going to not be happy with you.
Exactly. And I think part of that is probably just she knows that Meeks doesn't know that that's her dad, right? Because she said that the other guy was in the bear, what do they call it?
Perseus?
Not Perseus. Her dad, Mr. Green. Dr. Green.
Dr. Green.
Yes. Was that they had taken him into custody. But I don't think that Meeks knows that that's her dad. Right. So I think she's just maybe out of anger and revenge wants to pretty much blow up all the scientists at the test.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is,
what did you think about that? Right?
Meeks and Nora. I'm like, I don't want to root for you guys either. It's like, because your reasoning behind things is like, no. It was more so that I get they want to, it's all pretty much like minimal loss. I think that's their mentality. It's like, let's affect the least amount of people. Some people will get hurt because this is a war. Right. Some people will get hurt, but let's literally have it be the minimum loss. But the reasoning behind it is not the strongest, only because they really don't, they are in no position of power. They are under other people. And when they're trying to use their power and knowledge and whatnot, even Meeks, he's on the team, but he's not a leader.
Exactly.
So they are literally in no position to oppose anyone.
Right.
They're just pretty much bystanders having an opinion, be like, we're going to try to sabotage these guys in any possible way.
Right.
But they're not strong enough for me to care for them, for me to like them, for me to root for them.
Right. And definitely not rooting for them.
No. I don't think anybody, I mean, if you are rooting for them,
question.
Then you might need to watch the show again.
Right, exactly.
But again, it's just they are literally in no position of power to do anything. They're just stuck.
And you see Meeks kind of freak out about that. He's like, let's just stick to the plan. Why are you changing it?
Why are you deviating?
No. Yeah, exactly. And she brings up this point of, you can delay it as much as you want, but it's still going to happen. They're still going to detonate it. But if we kill all of them...
If we kill them now,
then...
What was her line?
There'll be no more bombs or atomic bombs, I think, ever. It was kind of the gist of it.
And
like, it'll never happen.
The thing with Nora, she kind of had the same mentality as Charlie, too. She's like, this girl's kind of crazy.
Right.
She said she pretty much convinces Meeks to sabotage the Trinity test, which we saw in the Flash, well, Flash 4, technically, of the first opening scene of Season 2 that Meeks is sneaking in. So she convinces Meeks to sabotage the test. But she says the line, one terrible thing today. Let us do one terrible thing today.
Right.
On par with monsters today, stop the monsters of tomorrow. I'm like, really?
Exactly.
I see where you two are, and Charlie's for America?
Yeah.
Charlie's for America? Okay, yeah. Nora. Girl needs to leave.
Yeah.
She's kind of crazy. And also her boyfriend left. Bye. Don't remember his name.
Right.
But anything else about this episode?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about how now Crosley is suspecting...
Right. Oh my goodness.
Meeks. That's huge.
That's a big thing. Yes, thank you.
Because he went into Fritz's room. Fritz was watching his wedding tape and happened to see Meeks... Or Crosley happened to see Meeks with the B hat,
Brooklyn.
which stands for Brooklyn Dodger hat. And
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because we saw that wedding a couple episodes ago. The actual wedding. Did not even think about that.
The thing that gives Meeks up is the hat.
The hat, Brooklyn. Because we know that there's also someone in Brooklyn who's also a spy.
Right.
He's an informant there.
Yeah.
Passing information.
So now Crosley suspects.
It's Meeks. Meeks was the one who went to Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Instead of going home to see his mother, who supposedly died.
Right.
Yep. And I love how Crosley, again, because we saw last episode, he's an official American citizen.
Yes.
He was awesome in this episode.
He was so good.
His power and authority, working for America in all the right ways.
Exactly.
I was like, this is what America should look like.
Exactly.
And he's British.
Exactly.
It's like, how ironic is that?
Yeah.
So I really liked Crosley and just him putting two together. I think he's the one good person we can root for.
Right.
Unless they kill him. That'd be horrible. You can't kill Crosley.
Can't kill Crosley. It's so funny because we've seen like his character just completely transform, which I love.
Love it.
Completely love it. And I think he's just a spot on good as a CIA agent. Even though it's not CIA yet, but know where it's going.
He's voicing the general American opinion of that time.
Right.
And in a way, it still coincides with today's society. It's like, yes, we still understand it. I think it's brilliant. And I think that's just great character development.
Right. I second that.
So, yes. Okay, maybe let's get into predictions.
Okay.
Then.
Oh.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So many things happen.
Yes.
What do you think's going to happen in the future?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a couple of predictions.
Okay.
So I think, how we flashed forward in the first season episode, and we see that Meeks is obviously at the Trinity test. And was it Darrow that was in kind of like the bunker thing saying not to let Frank in?
If you find Frank, don't let him in.
Okay, so I think there's like a 50-50 chance of like one of these two things happening. So either Darrow's in on it with Meeks, because he killed the other Russian spy, maybe thinking if we torture him, he's going to give it up.
Right.
So maybe he knows, and he knows that Meeks is there, and maybe by that time he'll find out that Frank knows about Meeks and doesn't want him on
the project
or the test site. Or it could just be that Charlie finds out that Frank finds out that Charlie completely went against him and the plan during the community and goes kind of ballistic and
Oh, wow.
isn't allowed. So that's, yeah.
That is crazy.
I know, right?
I kind of love it. Okay, so going off of that, do you think Darrow, because he killed Victor Green, do you think Darrow is a spy and he was afraid that Victor would give up too much information?
I think so, because even Crosley said, you know, when he was at the barn with, what's his name?
Bucher.
I always forget. Bucher. When he was at the barn with Bucher, he's like, didn't you think it was weird that, you know, Darrow went in there and killed our only, like...
our only victim?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Witness? Really?
Witness, what do you call it? Like...
Informant?
Exactly.
That get information.
Isn't that kind of weird? Like, no jury, no nothing, no, just kind of did it on his own. Like, he raised that question.
Yeah.
So, it could be. I kind of think maybe it would be a very good plant.
I think we've all speculated Darrow's not the man that he's claiming to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a spy. I think, but also it seems a little too obvious if he was a spy.
Right.
They're just playing it up that maybe he's just a shady dude. It could be.
He's got some level of kind of creepiness going on.
I don't know. You're kind of contradictory there. You're praying every single day.
And then you go and
then you kill someone.
Yeah.
Maybe something's just kind of loose up there in the head.
Right.
For Charlie, what do you think is going to happen with him and his big grand speech of dropping the bomb? And as we know in historical events that the bombs were dropped, but what do you think is going to happen to Charlie?
I think you'll probably lose Abby.
Definitely.
Yeah, which means then losing his son, which means there's really nothing to go back home to. So possibly after the Manhattan Project, I don't even know if, you know, the show's going to go that far, but he probably will just stay in Los Alamos, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Do you think there'll be an actual explosion this season?
I hope so. I hope so, especially for your sake. Because I know you want to see something explode.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're just working all these episodes up to a test.
Exactly.
Not even the actual explosion, but we're getting closer to the actual day where they detonate the bombs, because the Trinity test happened in July of 1945, and as we know, the atomic bombs were dropped in August of 1945. So we're getting there.
We're getting
there.
And I think for this season we'll see the Trinity test.
This season?
So. Yeah, I think
just
probably the finale.
Just the first bomb?
Right, the gadget, the first bomb down it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, prediction.
Ooh, let's hear it.
What if we did get a season 3 for the show? Which
we're
would
hoping.
Be great.
Yes, we are.
Would be great.
Yes.
What if the finale of season 2, we get the actual bomb drop of the first one?
You mean, are you talking about the one on Hiroshima?
Yes. The first, just the first bomb. And then which we know 2 days later, they dropped the second one. A lot can happen in 2 days. And I think WGN in Manhattan has the capabilities of going deep into character and how it affects them and the world and the chemistry and just...
Ooh, that sounds so good.
And the government politics altogether, all within 2 days, within 13 episodes.
Ooh.
And for them leading up to the decision of dropping a second bomb.
I love it.
How crazy would that be?
I am sold on that.
WGN, I hope you're listening.
I'm so
I
sold.
expect royalties sometime in the mail.
Awesome to see. Awesome.
Yes.
Like, you'd be able to go so deep into those characters.
It would be great.
Yeah. And just to see everyone's reaction. And
I'm just saying, just for practicality reasons and television programming and keeping an audience engaged, show a freaking bomb.
Right.
It's like, we know it's devastating, but like show an explosion or some physical progression of all these episodes, what they're leading up to.
Right.
Because for an audience, people's attention spans are that long.
Yeah.
And if they keep doling it out and not showing us the goods in that way, they're not going to retain their audience.
Right.
So just show us something very, very exciting in that way. Give us something to root for.
See, I think that's why we'll see the Trinity test.
Yeah.
That's a huge explosion.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a huge explosion. So I think we'll see that. But yeah, I think that's also why they're like skipping forward so much. Like we skipped, what, 2 months between these last 2 episodes? So yeah.
Because I think probably one of the last big historical events that can just pinpoint a time was the Adolf Hitler's death.
Right.
And then now we're into the Trinity test.
Right.
So, all right, fun episode.
Yes, loved it.
Loved it. Where can everyone keep following?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Alina Vission. That's ALINAVISSION.
And great, you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here at AfterBuzz on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Podcast One, Stitcher, all those fun places at AfterBuzz TV. Make sure to rate, comment, leave a comment and, description and all that, and maybe we'll shout you out. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.